What's up, everybody? My name is Nami. I have been traveling for the last 2 years full time. I recently traveled to Cartagena for a hosted trip, my first hosted trip of 2025. We were there for a week, and so I just wanted to come on here and give some insight, give some tips, and just talk a little bit about the trip, what we did, our excursions, the safety, how we felt. So I loved Cartagena. In case you didn't know, it's on the Caribbean. It's in South America. Very vibrant, a beautiful place. There's beautiful people there. The trip was amazing. I spent about 8 days in total there. The actual trip was about 5 days, and it was just amazing. It was amazing. So let's get into it. Oh no, it's starting to rain. Oh no. I'm in Puerto Rico right now, and battling the rain. It looks like a big rain cloud, so I might have to move. Okay, that was crazy. I literally moved at the perfect time because as I was walking in, it started pouring down rain. Anyways, back to Cartagena. The number one thing, if you can get a straight shot from wherever you're flying to Cartagena, do so, okay? Because if not, you might be going into Panama City or you might be going into Bogota. You run the risk of not having enough time to get onto your next flight. I had 2 hours to go through the immigration line. Because you fly internationally, you have to go from international to domestic, and then you're going to Cartagena, which is just, another city in Colombia. So you have to go through the migration lines, and that took forever. They made me miss my flight, and they don't care if you're going to miss your flight. They're going to tell you to stay in line. If you can get rid of having to do that, I suggest you do. Okay, so that's number one. Once you get into Cartagena, or really before that, I'm going to advise that you stay in Getsemani or in the walled city. The walled city is more expensive. Getsemani is artsy. I mean, it's all kind of artsy, but Getsemani is a little bit less. If you find a hotel that's outside of the walled city, but like still within proximity, that's also nice. Just be careful because it's not as safe. Anytime we left our hotel, they were like, take off your jewelry, do this, do that. And I mean, I've lived in Colombia, in Medellin. I didn't have any problem in Cartagena. I didn't feel bad at all, even being there, or just feeling like the hair sticking up on the back of my neck. But I also don't have jewelry that's like super important to me. And I wouldn't advise that you ever wear jewelry or anything that could be stolen like that, or just like in travel in general. You lose things, stuff happens, you're doing stuff, like it's just not easily replaceable, fixable, etc., etc. But yeah, as far as we stayed at the Ermita Hotel, and that was about a 10-minute walk from the walled city. They had a shuttle to take us anywhere we wanted to go. Uber you can get, picks up quickly, etc., etc. I know you can also stay in Boca Grande, which is like the big, I think it's an island, but it looks like a peninsula, and it's giving Miami, like shoreline type of. It is more expensive, but also you can stay there. For excursions, we did city tour, a catamaran, sailboat catamaran, full day excursion. We rode ATVs, and you can also do ziplining at the ATV spot. We did a beer tasting class at Lunatico, and we also did a cooking class. And we also did a salsa dancing class. And 3 of those excursions were booked through Airbnb, through locals, and then the catamaran experience was booked through Get Your Guide, and the ATV experience was recommended and researched. Big point that it was researched. I recommend that if you can, to book experiences through Airbnb, through the locals, give to the community. That's why you're there, to experience their culture, so book where you can. With that being said, go with the recommended hosts, go with the ones that have the reviews, go with the ones that put in the work to ensure that you're going to be safe and that you're going to have a good time. I definitely recommend to also give yourself time to walk around and explore the city before you do the city tour, because especially if you book through the person that I booked through, which I'll put the description in the link below, you're just going to have a lot of questions if you're like me and you're curious and you're looking for the experience of travel and not just vacationing in another country, give yourself time to walk around and just like find things and gather your questions, and then you can unleash them on your tour guide. But I thought it was super cool the way that we were there walking around and just taking in the city. There's so much to take in. It's super vibrant, super rich in culture, and it has a lot of history that we don't get taught about in schools. Also, for the guides, bring tips and cash. It is a tipping culture, so make sure that you're tipping your people if you had a good experience. Don't rely on digital currency. Take out some cash at the ATMs. There are ATMs all over the place, and be prepared to tip your guides and your hosts and things like that. So the beaches in Cartagena suck, okay? And that's just on this walled city, like in the city. Cartagena beaches suck. You have to go to the islands. The beach is gray, green, like it looks cloudy. It's giving California, okay? It's giving California beaches. It is not giving Caribbean unless you go outside. Once you go outside to the islands and things like that, then you get the blue turquoise water. It's clear, it's beautiful. So with that being said, this is where the beach resorts and things come in. You can literally book a beach resort or a beach club for the day. You get a day pass. They pick you up in Cartagena, usually with transport, boat transport, and take you to the resort, and then they'll bring you back. And that's usually included with the purchase of the day pass. We went to Amare Beach Club Resort, and that was freaking amazing. It was the best music of the trip. The DJ that's there, he's there all the time. That's his only like gig that he does. If you want to have a good time and listen to good music, eat good food, have good drinks, definitely recommend that you go to Amare Beach Club and Resort. I believe that it was like $120 per person, which is like $20 for the day, and you get to use your money in consumables. I think it was like 115,000 pesos for consumables, which covered everybody. I think I only had to pay like an extra 50,000 pesos, which was like $8, and we ate and drank to our heart's content. So with the vendors, all I've heard from Cartagena was the vendors suck. They're all over the place. They're always up in your face. Da 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 da. Honestly, I had more harassment, I guess you could say, from vendors in Thailand and even in Medellin. The Cartagena vendors did not bother me at all. But the key is that you have to ignore them. And it doesn't sound the best, but they will keep on bothering you and asking you. Even if you say no, if you talk to them, it's an invitation for them. So ignore the vendors. Just ignore them. Don't say anything and don't talk to them again. Don't even look at them. Don't answer any of their questions. Like, just ignore it and they will leave you alone. Now, you're going to get approached by them, of course. The less eye contact you make, the better. If you look at all the locals, that's the same exact thing that they do. They do not talk to them. They just leave them alone. With that being said, the cute ladies with the dresses that sing and they carry the fruits on their heads, and the guys who walk around and rap, they're gonna ask, hey, let's take a picture together. If they see your phone, they're gonna ask for money. The rap guys, if you just ignore them, give it about like not even 30 seconds and they're gonna walk away, because they're just doing it because they want the money. But if you sit there and you allow them to do it and you listen to it, they're gonna make sure that you give them money after. So if that's not the case, do not entertain. On the topic of vendors, you bargain everything. If it's a store and they have set prices, then probably you're not gonna get anywhere with bargaining unless they have like a specific sticker and it looks like, this is a set price. I would bargain. Less typical in like an actual store, but if it's like somebody on the street or somebody with a table or whatever, bargain. And I typically never take the first vendor that comes to me. As an example, we were on our city tour. We were about to walk into a rooftop, and this guy was there trying to sell me bracelets. He was trying to sell each bracelet for, I think he said like 70,000 off rip, which is like $15 or something. And I was like, no. I told him 25,000, and that's just because I think I had a 50, and I was like, oh, I want to get 2 bracelets. And so he said no, and I was like, okay, that's fine. But then I turned around and told my friend, when we come back out here, he's going to say yes, he's going to offer it to me for what I asked it for. And that was honestly over probably what I should have even paid. They were nice bracelets. He was putting a flame to the fire, and it was a jade bracelet, and he was like, it's real jade, blah, blah, blah. It felt really nice. Like, it just felt really nice. And I'd felt other bracelets and things that felt more like cheap and whatever. I was willing to pay money for it. I just didn't want to pay what he was trying to make me pay. So anyways, we go up, we come down. As soon as we come out, he's waiting right there. I'm like, see? And so then he was like, okay, fine. A few days later, we ended up getting 3 for 50,000. So it's like, don't take the first price. Shop around and see. The same thing goes with the excursions. When you're on the boat tours or when you're on the beach resorts, they are going to come up with jet skis and they're going to ask you to pay like $50 for a jet ski. And you might think like, dang, that's cool, because in the States, I would pay $150 for a 30-minute jet ski ride. No. Okay. I paid 100,000 pesos for a jet ski ride, which is like $23. They will try to say like, oh, it's 15 minutes, and then they'll try to be pulling you in 10 minutes. Like, no, I paid and I want my 15. So make sure you are checking your time, etc., etc. But yeah, you don't have to pay $50-$70 for that crap. You can literally get it for $20 for a 30-minute ride and have the time of your life. Probably even cheaper, honestly, especially if you speak Spanish. So bargain, bargain, bargain. Okay, so as far as bars, where to go dancing, honestly, I did not have the best experience looking for music. I feel like I'm the type of person that can dance to anything. And even with that being said, for some reason, the nights just were not hitting. But the clubs that we did find that were good was El Químico. That one is like 3 tiers. It has a rooftop. We didn't get to go to the rooftop because it was closed down. You do have to make a reservation there, and that's like kind of a thing around the area. There's obviously places where you don't have to make a reservation, but they do ask, do you have a reservation? So if you can make a reservation, then make one. Especially El Químico, you will be waiting for an hour or 2 hours just to get to the rooftop, because that's like the biggest bar there. But they do have good music. They do have a good mix and variety of stuff. There's Monkey Bar. There's one called Ibiza, I think, and that one was nice. You do have to get in there before, I think it was like 11 o'clock in order for it to be free. Otherwise, it was like $5, and you have to pay in cash, I think. That one was nice. It has a rooftop. It has 2 floors. One of them is more EDM, but still nice. There's also Club Havana for salsa dancing. There's another one called Delirium that I saw everybody was recommending. We didn't go to that because it was kind of out of the way, but I heard that it was like the club that you go to after the other clubs. And I also heard it was like more American music, which like every time I go out, I'm not trying to look for American music because they play the same songs over and over. Caught Up by Usher, like Pitbull. I'm not trying to listen to that music. I want to listen to good music and I want to hear the good DJs. So a tip is to find good DJs. Like if you can research the DJs and see like who they're, promoting or what clubs they're promoting, where they're going to be at beforehand, I definitely recommend. That's something that I typically always try to do. I didn't think it was going to be that hard to find music in Cartagena, but for some reason it was. Like, the other thing is that they might have a dress code. There was definitely a club that we went to that was kind of popular. I can't remember the name of it. I had like a silk top and I just had the front tucked in. The rest was down. I had jeans on and my cowgirl boots, and not like hoochie mama at all, but they made me untuck my shirt. They also didn't let shorts in for men. Like, it was definitely a dress code, and everybody was in there with like cocktail dresses. So make sure that you are prepared with something nice just in case, because one of our friends did not get let in because he was wearing basketball shorts. I did not go on any of the party boats, but our amazing tour guide Alvaro said that party boats are where it's at. They have the good music, and then after the boat they'll take you to whatever good club is playing. And honestly, while you're there, just make connections, because the tour guides know what's up. Even our ATV tour guide, he was saying that there's WhatsApp groups that says where everybody is going. Make connections. Don't be afraid to ask the tour guides like, hey, where should I go tonight? I want this type of music, blah, blah, blah. You also can just walk around the street. Like we walked up and down so many rooftops. There's lots of stairs, by the way. Gonna be the promoters outside the clubs. They're gonna tell you, oh yeah, this club is this, and this, and it's this type of music, and you'll like this. Ask them like, where should I go, and like write down those clubs, and maybe check their Instagram stories and see what kind of like music they have, dress code, everything like that. Okay, so clothing. Wear breathable clothing. It's freaking hot. To me, honestly, maybe it's because I've been in Puerto Rico. I didn't feel the heat as much. I just was sweating. So yeah, wear breathable clothing. If you want to break your heels out, I mean, I was in my cowgirl boots and I was fine. My homegirl had heels and she was trucking through it. In Cartagena, it wasn't really cobblestone. It wasn't asphalt either. So I feel like you can get away with it. I saw a lot of girls in heels and I was like, okay. I personally just wouldn't, also because I like to be able to dance and get mobile, you know, and I don't like the restriction of heels, but I wouldn't say that don't bring them. If you want to bring them, you think you can handle it, do it. Try it out. You will be walking a lot. The walled city is a walking city, get some money, walking, everything is walkable, and honestly, you really want to try not to get an Uber if you don't have to. It's an old city. Like it's an old city. The streets are narrow. They have to pull over to let somebody else get through. There's only one ways. Like if you can walk, I definitely recommend that you walk. And I would just, even if you can't walk, be prepared to walk. So the heat is disrespectful. Like truly, it is disrespectful. Make sure you bring sunscreen. I don't normally get burnt. I don't normally wear sunscreen. I definitely got burnt all over my forehead and was peeling, and it was just hot. It was hot. So yeah. Bring sunscreen and make sure that you are drinking water. The weekdays are definitely more chill. There is something to do every night. The weekends, it's very packed. If you're going out on the weekends, I definitely recommend getting reservations. We didn't really have any issues with reservations when we were eating at different places. I booked some nice places and we didn't have a problem. There was even times where we were the only ones in the restaurant and it was like private. Adding to the luxuriness of the trip. Maybe it was just because it was my birthday trip and that's what it was giving, luxury, private experience. But yeah, if you're wanting to go to the clubs, then I would recommend, unless you want to wait, unless you have the time. Stick to drinking bottled water. Don't drink the water. I brushed my teeth with the water, but yeah, I wouldn't recommend drinking it. You do need to stay hydrated. So yeah, make sure you are prepared with water, fruit juices, things like that. Be careful eating the street food. There was places where the food was sitting out for a while. I definitely recommend that you eat the street food, try it, get the arepas con queso, get the pinchos or like the meat sticks. Definitely try the fresh juice, the fresh fruit, but just go to places that it looks fresh, that it looks like it was freshly cooked to minimize any problems that could arise with foodborne illnesses, okay? Eat the food that everybody else is eating. Safetiness, okay? I felt safe the entire time. If you're wondering about safety, I have a video, how to stay safe in Colombia, in Medellin, that I made a while ago. That definitely goes for Cartagena as well. Have some street smarts. I was walking around with my camera out and my phone out, and I didn't feel threatened at all. But I wouldn't necessarily recommend you do that unless you can really be aware of your surroundings or if you're with a lot of people or whatever. If you're by yourself, it's very easy for somebody to rob you. If you're wearing a fanny pack or if you're wearing a purse around your waist, they will try to snatch that or cut it off, whatever. So just make sure that you're keeping an eye on your things. Don't put your phone in your back pocket. Don't just have your wallet in your pocket. Like if you have a fanny pack that can go under your shirt, that's great. If you have a purse, just make sure that you're keeping, a hand on it, that you're checking it. Don't keep a lot of cash on you. Don't be taking your cash out and counting it in front of everybody. Yeah, just be aware. We didn't have any problems, but the last night that we were there, we were walking, honestly, in the walled city, right outside of the walled city. It was 4:00 in the morning. We shouldn't have been doing that. It was 3 of us. It was a chill night, but we should not have been doing that. Don't make that mistake. My friend was walking on the outside and she had her like strapped purse, like a fanny pack. The strap was really little though. This guy was on a motorcycle. He rode up and like put his hand up so she was looking and then tried to grab her thing, and had it not been wrapped twice around her, he would have gotten it. And then not only that, he like circled around and tried to come back, and we were ready to like kick him off his bike. But that was with 3 of us, and he was not scared of us at all. He did not like get close enough to us again, but he definitely was willing to and tried to. And then while he was doing that, there was another car that started like backing up. We were ready to fight, but you know, like, I'm honestly like, it was just not a smart decision, but we did it. And so we're here to tell the story not to do that. Okay. That being said, scams do happen. If it feels off, it is off. Trust your gut, trust your intuition, do your research. Only go by what's recommended, especially if you're not super seasoned, especially if you don't speak Spanish. Like, support where you can, but also keep yourself safe. You can get around by using Ubers. I personally wouldn't book taxis because that is where things happen, unfortunately. Not to say that any taxi driver is bad, but you also have to negotiate with taxis, and I just wouldn't even mess around with the taxis. I would just take an Uber. With that being said, that's everything. That is everything about Cartagena. It was so fun. It was an amazing freaking time. If you want everything that we did, I will link my blog for my itinerary and everything down below. I also have lots of videos and content on it on my Instagram at Nami Hewitt, and also my TikTok, Nami Hewitt. If you have any questions, definitely drop them down in the comments below. And if you're wanting to take a trip with me, I have one in August for Medellin, Colombia, and I also have one in Chiang Mai, Thailand in October. Yeah, it's a little bit exploring, it's a little bit of wellness on both trips. It's gonna be super fun. So they're group trips, and you know, we're attracting like-minded travelers and people who really are just wanting to travel and gain insight about different cultures and support locals and eat good food and dive deeper into themselves and just connect. If you want to see my blog, I make vlogs as well, visual diaries, and I do have a vlog for this trip, this Cartagena 2025 trip, so check that out. It's already out. I'll link the description in the below, or you can go onto my playlist Life of Nami, and I have a year's worth of videos from Thailand, Costa Rica, Colombia, Medellin, Colombia, Cartagena, Puerto Rico. I'm in Puerto Rico now, living in Puerto Rico. And so yeah, that's about it. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. That's where I'm up to date on pretty much everything. You can see where I'm at and what I'm doing. And outside of that, I appreciate you for being here, and I'll catch you on the next video. Thanks.